How you guys doing? Everyone feeling strong? Yeah, it's been a great day. It has been a great day. So, our next speaker needs no introduction.
I was sitting in a chair with my head tilted back because that's apparently how you sit in that chair. I was sitting in a chair because at the time my fiance suggested that I might like to get this brow waxed. Mind you, she didn't make it plural. I have two brows, one over here and one over here, but she felt like the tiny bit of hair I had in between made it one solid brow, and she suggested I should go get it waxed. I'll be honest with you, I had no idea what that meant. I had a mental model of what waxing an eyebrow would be like, and so of course, I found a salon, not the kind of place where I go to get my hair cut, but I found a salon where it said, you know, we wax, and so I walked in and I said, my fiance says that I should wax this. And they said, no problem, and they sat me down and they explained, we probably want to touch up just under here, shape this a bit, and we'll work out the middle. And I'm like, okay, sounds fine to me. See, my mental model of waxing was that someone would put something warm and gooey right here, and it would dissolve the hair. And then they would take some material and bat away all the loose hair. And it would be awesome. And I figured my wife, fiance at the time, was the kind of gal that would send me into something like this and prepare me. I didn't search Google. I didn't ask anyone. I did absolutely nothing except walk in and sit in that chair. And there I was, sitting in the chair, my head tilted back, and they started rubbing the hot goo right here in the middle between my eyebrows. And I thought, because of the mental model I had, oh, it's melting my hair right now. That's awesome. It's totally working. I closed my eyes. I was very peaceful. And then they took the material to rub off all the hair that had been already worked off. Have you ever had someone ask you a question that suggested that maybe you knew nothing about what you thought you knew? Have you ever heard a question with so few words and yet filled with so much information that you're starting to rethink your entire life? As she put the material right here and pressed down, she asked me a question that in that moment I realized something's wrong. Because she said, "Are you ready?" Ready? Ready for what? What do I have to be ready for? You're just about to wipe off all the hair. And in that moment, she ripped off half my face. Nothing prepared me for that moment. And then she continued to shape other parts of my eyebrows that was worth doing once so I could get married. I've never done it again. This is now my unibrow. Say hello to my unibrow. Yeah, it likes you back too. Why do I tell you about this story? I tell you because whether you are a developer, whether you are a vendor that provides extensions, whether you work for WooThemes, or whether you're a store owner, it is likely that you live in the context of a paradigm that you fully do not understand and comprehend. There are moments where you find yourself in a spot where a single question can turn everything you thought you knew upside down. And in that moment, you realize, maybe everything I thought I had a handle on, I don't. I provide a service on a service called Clarity.fm. On that service, people can call me. And they pay per minute, and they ask questions. And predominantly, the questions are about membership sites, e-commerce, WooCommerce specifically. And I get calls. Sometimes I'll schedule 10 to 20 in a month. Other times, maybe 4 or 5. I also, because I write a blog at christhumma.com, I get questions typically between 5 and 20 every single day. Questions. That's not related to comments on the post. Those are questions in the contact form or via email about how do I do this? How do I do that? What should I do here? How should I do that? Which extension should I use for this or that? And often I write back, well, it depends, and then I ask them a question. And when I ask a question, especially if I'm on the phone, and I ask a question, I say, well, tell me, are you doing this? Have you thought about this? Will you need to do this? And I realize in that moment, I am like that person standing over me asking, are you ready? In that moment when I realized I don't know what she's about to do, when I asked them, have you thought about a membership component? Have you thought about Sensei? Have you thought about e-courses? Have you thought about learning? Have you thought about extensions? Have you thought about email? Have you thought about autoresponders? As I asked them, they're like, I don't even know what you just said. I don't know what you said, but now that you said it, it sounds important, and I've been missing it, and now I'm in trouble. And because they pay me by the minute, I don't tell them about my waxing experience, but I say, I've been there. I know what you're going through. For years, people would say, you need a platform, and what they meant by a platform was, make sure that you create a blog, make sure that you create a website, and anchor everything you're doing out in the world back to your own website. Don't put your content on Facebook as your primary source because you're giving Facebook your content. Don't put it on Flickr, use Instagram, use Twitter, but bring it back to a hub, a central place where your content lives. That's why you have your own website. That's why you have your own blog. And if you're going to build a platform, build it up from something you own and control. And that makes perfect sense. But over the last 2 years, as I've answered questions every week, I've realized the term platform isn't just about your brand. It isn't just about who you are and the business you're trying to build. The term platform also means, in the background that I have in engineering, it means something bigger that you build on top of. And that's why today what I want to tell you is you don't need a website. You need a platform. I'm going to tell you a story, a set of stories that you've heard 100 times before. Nothing I tell you today is going to be original. Not one story that I tell you will you be able to go, never heard that before, because we've all lived it. A friend named Carl who called me up and said, I have a problem. I contacted my web developer. I asked him to help me build a site. I built the site, and now I need some help. Doesn't every story start like that? Doesn't every story start with, can I just get a website? And you know you're in trouble when you hear the word just. Everybody likes to use it. No one apparently knows what it means. I just need a website. So he had asked his developer for a website. He got the website. And then, a few weeks later, Carl contacted his developer again and said, hey, by the way, I want to do some sort of download where people can get a PDF and they can just buy it and get the download. It's just, I want it easy. So the developer said, easy, digital, downloads? I know what to do. Built the solution for my friend Carl. And then Carl said, great. Can we do some e-commerce? The developer said, well, what do you mean? Well, I want to be able to ship some products. Ship products? You want to do downloads. You wanted to protect PDFs. I got that for you. He's like, yeah, but I sell a physical book. I'm a New York Times best-selling author. I'd like to be able to have people buy my book on my website. I'm trying to build a platform. I've been reading Michael Hyatt. He's telling me to set this all up on my site. Now I want to be able to sell my book, and I'd like to ship it. And the developer said, well, we're going to have to rebuild your entire site from scratch because this site doesn't do what you want. Oh, boy. My friend Carl called me and said, is he right? I said, it depends. Can you tell me what he did, how he did it, what he did it with? We went on and on. What we discovered was he'd made some mistakes. They'd used a third-party product, and the third-party product didn't do what they wanted. So I said, well, you ought to look at some other solutions. Talk to another developer. He's like, oh, I have another developer, no problem. I said, okay, so I got out of the way, and Carl went and called another developer. He called the other developer said, got this done, no problem. We'll take care of your books and shipping and anything else you want. And they set him up on an e-commerce solution that was actually not on his own website, which was a lot of fun, right? Because you get to Carl's website, and in the link it says shop, and you click the button shop. Now, let me be very clear in case you didn't know. I'm going to break this down for you. When someone clicks on shop, it's the underlying expressed intent of the desire to actually spend money with you. This is the moment you want to close on, right? But because it went to another site, because it went to a completely different URL, it was taking from 2 to 7 seconds just to load the page. When I tell you that he was losing 60% of his traffic, I'm not talking about losing it in the process of checkout. I'm not talking about, complicated screens that did something that took him and distracted the buyer. I'm talking about 60% of the traffic that couldn't get to the final destination, which was the shop page, and because of that, his sales dropped all the way down the line. And Carl says, are you for real? Do these developers know anything? I said, Carl, let me ask you a question. Are you trying to build e-commerce on your direct site? Are you building something bigger than just the website? He said, I didn't even know that was possible. Are you saying I could have run e-commerce on the same site where I'm writing my blog? Carl, I don't want to be the first one to tell you this, but there are trillions of people on other planets around the galaxy that already do this, and you're last. Carl, of course you can do e-commerce and a blog on the same site. And so we migrated everything off BigCommerce and moved it onto not only WordPress, but also WooCommerce. And of course, he says to me in a couple weeks later, hey, did I mention that I also wanted to do a membership site? I got a buddy of mine who's doing this crazy stuff. It's awesome. And all I want to do is what he's doing. I want to copy exactly everything he's doing. And he has a membership site, and this membership site is killing it. I mean, this guy is making money. I said, Carl, every time someone says they're killing it, by definition, they're not killing it. So just ignore that. But yes, we can do a membership site. He's like, do I have to rebuild the site from scratch? No, we don't have to do that at all. Maybe you've lived stories like Carl's, maybe you are Carl, or maybe you've been a developer who works for people like Carl. And there's something frustrating about Carl, right? It's not just Carl. It's a guy named Sam, it's a gal named Sandy, it's all sorts of people I talk to. It's frustrating because they can't seem to tell you up front everything they want, right? 1 second, did I mention I also want to do bookings? I'd like to do consulting, and I'd like someone to be able to register my time on my site. Can I do that? At the end of the day, things never stay simple. And that's why I tell them, you need a platform. You need not just a plugin, not just an extension, not just a blog, not just a website. You're probably going to come and ask me for bookings and membership, digital downloads. You're going to ask me about e-commerce, and of course you want to run a blog, and all of that you want integrated into one user experience. Got on a call with a guy just yesterday morning. He's been doing several $1 million a year on videos that teach hairdressers how to braid hair. Several $1 million a year. He'd been shipping DVDs, but those DVDs were now kind of gone by the wayside, and he wanted to move to an online digital distribution of videos. And he'd read an article I'd written about Sensei, and he wondered, is this even possible? I said, sure. He's like, okay, but I also want to do a membership, and I'm going to have 200,000 people coming through here, and can it even do? Because right now, on my current site, people click things, and then they have to use different passwords to log into different parts of the site. And I said, you want an integrated user experience. When they log in, they see my account page, and on my account page, it shows them what products I've bought, what courses I've bought, what memberships I'm in. Is that what we're talking about? He said, yeah. And so I ask you this question. Whether you're a vendor or developer, do you know what people want? Do you spend enough time asking? I know you don't do this. I know it's the people outside there that do it. But sometimes there are customers who start talking to us, and as they're talking, we start formulating our response while they're talking. I know that extension would do that, and that extension would do that, and that plugin would do that. And I have the answer before I've even asked them another question. What is it they want? Well, I'll tell you. They want to get rid of all the knots and all the pain in their life. They want all the tangles to be untangled. They want integration. And they don't want integration because technically it does something special for them. They don't wake up in the morning and think, integration, yay. That's not what's going on. They want a customer experience that is unified. How many of you have had customers ask you if you could build the Apple website over the weekend? How many of you have had someone say, can you build me Facebook by Thursday for $300, right? Everybody wants to know, how can you build these multi-million-dollar experiences on my budget? That's a whole different talk and a different discussion about pricing. But at the core of it, what they want is a seamless user experience. I had a client who said, if a person's a member, I want to give them a discount. The client said, here's the deal. I want to charge them $50 a month. And I told him, hey, let's back up for a second. On average, across the US, membership sites that succeed only charge $17 a month across all membership categories. There's one category that goes over $50 a month, and that's financial. And of course, the tie there is so clear because you pay money to make money that it's direct and people understand it. But other than financial membership sites, all the other membership sites are below. There's some at 10, there's some at 30, but it averages out to about 17. Are you sure you want to charge $50? He said, I do. But I talked to this guy, and he wants me to give a discount to people who are in the membership for the rest of the shopping. I said, oh, now we're talking about something different. See, what he wanted to do was say, I'll charge you $50 every single month, but every month I'll give you a coupon for $100 off my store. So it's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you spend $50 to get a $99 coupon as long as you plan to keep buying things at the store? And he had 300 different SKUs of different digital products that people would want, and so it made sense. We said, okay, can you do it? Well, of course I can. I use WooCommerce. It's a little thing at the bottom of the site that just tells me right over here, put a coupon on here. put a coupon, and in fact, if you use the Smart Coupons extension, you can literally say every time on a subscription, so you need to use the subscription extension, which is awesome. And if you use the subscription extension, you say every time the subscription renews, create a new coupon dynamically, attach that coupon and send it out to this person. But then with Smart Coupons, you can say, hey, limit it to 30 days. And so every member at the beginning of the month gets charged, but also gets a coupon worth twice the value of the membership price. And they come and they download products for twice the value. He said, well, let me ask you a question. If they're a member of my membership, can we discount a specific product? He said, I go out and I speak at these conferences. There's 5,000 people speaking, I'm speaking to, and I tell them join the membership. But if they join the membership today, I want to be able to give them a special discount so they can go get one of my framed prints for free. But I only want to do it if they join the membership, and I only want to do it for a specific product, a product that's really easy for us to push out the door. Can we do it? Of course we can. I use WooCommerce. It's a little button right over here that just tells me how to tie it to a specific product. Yes, you can have this coupon, and you can even define that the coupon works for one and only one product, and only if you join the membership. Another client who said, hey, I have a big question for you. I have gone through 3 different membership platforms, and they make me buy the membership with one transaction, and they make me buy the products with another transaction. I can't put both into the same cart. What is it about developers that can't figure out how we work, she said. I mean, what person wants to go through the checkout twice? Can you do it? Of course. I use WooCommerce, right? And there's a little button there, right, that says, hey, make sure that subscriptions and products can be purchased at the same exact time. You'll see a sample right here, right? Here's a membership. Here's an ebook. They're in the same cart at the same time. No problem. See, what they want is that kind of integration, an integration that they don't have to get on the phone and explain to their customers, oh, I know it's convoluted, but my developer couldn't figure this out, or my product isn't this, or my platform isn't that. Nobody wants to hear that. They just want to buy what they want to buy. And they want an integrated experience. 3 weeks ago, someone called up and said, hey, a guy named Jonas said, look, I want to be able to buy courses and products. I sell these videos. I show people how to install cabinets in kitchens, but I also have books that go with the videos, and they're separate. And I want people to be able to buy the course, but I also want them to be able to buy the book, and I want to put them in the same cart. In fact, I want to be able to potentially even bundle it. I said, of course you can. My friend named Carrie, 4 months ago, called up with the same question. Carrie is today, with his new website launched recently, in the spirituality and church section under leadership. He has a podcast that is #1 at iTunes. He has his podcast prime material on his website. He's tripled the traffic on his website. It's been fantastic. He's writing regularly. It's awesome. And he's discovered, because he's written some books, that publishers now are more willing to publish as he develops a platform. They come and ask, do you know how many people are following you? Do you know how many people are commenting? Do you know how many people are transacting? Tell us the stats, because as a publisher, you're mitigating our risk. And so he called me and said, is this even possible? Can I offer a course? Can I offer a membership? Can I offer products, digital but also physical, on the same site? Of course you can. That's Carrie's site. And Carrie is getting ready to release a new membership program. And Carrie is getting ready to release several courses. And the beautiful thing about it is, all of that code is already on Carey's site. It's already there. Everything he needs, from subscription to Sensei, everything he needs from follow-up emails, everything he needs from chained products, everything is there. There was one thing he wanted that I couldn't give him, right? And that's not normal for me. I like to make sure that the people I work with are extremely happy. And I said, I'm sorry, Carey. This whole idea of dripping courses, he said, I've read your website. And you talk a lot about the value of dripping content. We talked a little earlier today about drip, but this drip is the notion of sequentially delivering content at different timelines. Because what people discover when you host a membership site is that people will pay, they'll log in, they'll actually download all of your content, and then call you back up and ask for a refund, all within a 24-hour period. And if you have a refund policy that says you'll give it back, you give them all the money, they take your content, and they walk away. There are bad people out there. I don't like them. With the help of my friend Tony, I'm starting to scan what they're doing at their houses, but that's a whole different discussion. That's why I call him my big brother. Carey said, I read that you should be dripping out your course material over time so that people don't get it all right away. And I said, well, here's the problem, right? At this moment, there's not a lot of people who are doing this. He wanted to drip courses. I am thrilled to tell you that soon it's going to be a little checkbox, an extension to Sensei that will let you schedule how you want your courses delivered. And it may be dependent one after another, or it may be date-based. Either way, I called Carey up. The moment I got the news from WooThemes, they said, hey, we're doing this thing, and we know that you would like it, and we want to talk to you about it. And I just said, send me whatever you have. I want to take a look at it. I looked at it, and then I got on the phone with Carey and said, hey, you're going to love this. Here's the bottom line. If you want to build a platform, you know That totally wasn't me. I don't know who did that. God. I think he likes WooCommerce too. Here's the deal. If you want to build a platform, if you want to build one unified, consistent experience, there is currently no better way, from memberships to online booking to digital downloads, regular e-commerce, and blogging. There's no better way to put one consolidated experience in front of your end users than WooCommerce. It's why it's the standard tool I use. It's why I get on those phone calls, and now I get to be the one that says, they go on for 20, 30 minutes. I let them talk because they pay me by the minute, and they're paying me to listen. I feel like a counselor. And they take a breath, and I say, are you ready? And they go, uh-oh. So no, this time it's good news. I'm not going to rip off your face. I'm going to tell you that everything you ever wanted is totally possible. And it's possible with WooCommerce. My name's Chris Lema. I blog over at chrislema.com. You can find me on Twitter at @ChrisLema. And I happen to be the chief technologist of a company called Crowd Favorite. Thank you very much. Do we have some time for questions? I don't know if there are questions, but we do have some. Any questions out there? Yeah, right over there.
Can you integrate live chat with WooCommerce?
Yes, but here's the thing. Okay. The live chat services that I've used, like LivePerson, are completely separate products, and they give you a little bit of JavaScript that you put into the footer of your site, and it will work. So it totally works, but it's completely unrelated to WooCommerce. Now, the nice thing is, depending on which payment gateway you use, depending on how you've set up WooCommerce, your live agent staff can actually have one link that will put different products into their cart. And so as they're chatting and you're having that conversation and they finally go, oh, so this is the extension I need, you can literally give them a link in the chat and they will click it and it will put something in their cart, which is completely awesome if you train your chat staff to do that.
What is that extension?
Oh, any extension. I mean, the URL is a specific kind of URL to put something in cart. It just has the shopping cart and the product ID as part of the query string. But the benefit is training your staff so that they know how to drive that live chat to closure. Yeah, back there, white.
Thank you. I really enjoyed your presentation, and it's right where I'm at. I'm just about to start building a membership site on WooCommerce to sell my videos and martial arts programs. And for me, at the starting phase of laying out all this stuff and connecting, do you have any advice of like how to,
There's a website that has a tremendous number of articles that describe all this process. It's chrislemma.com. Am I allowed to plug that? Am I allowed to do that from stage? I'm a sponsor, so yeah, I'm going to go with yes.
Yes, yes, we like it.
I just wrote an article 2 days ago about using Sensei to deliver video content without even needing a membership component. But again, the subscription pieces from ProsPress are absolutely amazing. The groups and groups for WooCommerce are less amazing, but that's because ProsPress didn't write it. And you can do membership and connect it up to purchases of products. So I take a look at all that.
Cool. Thank you.
I think there was someone right in front somewhere. Yeah, right here somewhere. No, over here. The question was, is membership separate from Sensei or part of Sensei? Currently, it is not part of Sensei at all. What actually happens is you have groups, which does content protection, and there is an extension called Groups for WordPress that allows you to connect that into WooCommerce, or Groups for WooCommerce. Then you have subscriptions, which allows you to bill regularly. And then if you wanted to do courses, you'd have Sensei. So there's a couple different pieces out there that you'd look at. Yeah. Oh, no, he can't answer any questions. He can't ask a question. He has all the answers.
Chris, what's your experience with third-party plugins? And some plugins are on WooCommerce and some are not, and it becomes a place where clients can see all these possibilities and throw them all together and not always get the results they want.
Yeah, it's a great question. The reality is this: there are a ton of folks that legitimately have their own websites and choose to sell those extensions on their own sites. There are folks that do that legitimately, and they're fine, and they're great. And then there's a whole bunch of people who are dirty, rotten scumbags who attempt to steal all of the work that someone else has done, whether it's WooThemes directly or third parties, and put them on their own sites and charge you $5. If you go, just public service announcement, if you go to one of those stupid-ass sites and you pay $5 to download the world of downloads, right? When you discover that they don't come with support, and you discover that your whole site gets thrashed, please call me at Clarity. I charge $400 an hour, and I'll be happy to redirect you back to WooThemes where you can buy the legitimate plugins, right? Here's the bottom line, right? If you buy a product for $5, you really can't complain later when it's not updated and when the code sucks and when something's bad. On top of which, you may end up getting pulled into a legal issue because many of the people that copy those plugins, this is GPL, it's freely able to be delivered to other people. That's one of the freedoms, is to distribute the code, but you cannot do trademark infringement. And a lot of these plugins have, either in the namespace or in the names of the plugins themselves, they have actual trademark names, which means if one of the actual providers decides to sue that person and you become embroiled in that, you become a witness. Who wants that, right? You're trying to save $70, you're going to burn 6 weeks. So don't do it. Buy products from reputable places. Now, the hard part is, unless you're going to Woo Themes, where do you go that's reputable, right? So there are a couple of folks here, Prospress I've mentioned before, Skyverge, those are great sites. Sellwithwp.com is a blog that describes a bunch of stuff, and they often have links to other places. Those I trust, right? So all of those places are pretty good. There are other good ones that I don't know about, and they kind of pop up here and there. And that's when you start, hopefully you have some friends you can talk to and say, hey, have you tested this? Have you checked this out? I run a whole hip chat with, or Slack with 10 or 12 developers where I can just ask them, has anyone ever seen this before? Because I'm looking for the collective wisdom of that crowd. Thanks for asking that good question. There's one right here. Yeah. What do I think about Theme Forest? How do I get these questions? Okay. Oh, are we running out of time? Is that what you're signaling me? No, I'm just kidding. Well, here's the thing about Theme Forest, right? For the longest time, I felt like their quality was seriously suspect. Over the last year or two, I've seen their quality improve. So it's hard for me to make one flat statement, because if you go finding some code that was delivered there or was put there years ago, it probably is trash. And if you look at some of the code recently, depending on who's there, it might be good. So it's very difficult to evaluate. What I tell folks is, if you're not a developer, if you're not skilled in the art of reviewing code, you may want to go to places that you can trust 100%, right? It's a lot easier. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't some great plugins over there or some great themes over there that you want to do, but that's when you want to talk to someone who knows and they can say, download that one and don't touch that one. Does that make sense? All right, thank you guys very much.